What's up guys, my name is Dennis and welcome back to In the Den. Today we're going to be reviewing the Everyday Essentials bumper plates that I got on Amazon. I've been using it now for about 4 years, so I've got a couple of thoughts about them and I'm here to tell you if it's really worth your money or not. When I started building my gym, I knew I needed a set of weights that I could do my basic lifts with, like deadlifts, squats, and bench press. And I figured bumper plates would be the best bet since I work out in my garage and I have horse stall mats. They would be probably a little bit more forgiving for the floor just because in case I ever drop them, they wouldn't crack or the weights wouldn't break or they wouldn't damage my floor. So I decided to go with them even though they were a little bit more expensive. Cast iron plates go for about $1 a pound, whereas bumper plates go for $2 to $3. At the time when I was buying them, my best friend had sent me a link to these bumper plates and it was only about $1 to $1.25 per pound. So I bought them right there and then because it was just way too cheap to let it slide. Now the first thing I didn't anticipate was how bad the smell would be. These things smelled like absolutely new tire smells right off the conveyor belt, right out of the machine. It was so strong that I really couldn't do anything with them until maybe about a few days because the smell was way too strong for the garage. And I felt like if I worked out in the garage, it would be suffocating. On Reddit and on forums, they said that in order for the smell to get out, you'd have to air them out in the sun. It takes about a week or two to really have the smell leave and about a month for the weights to not smell at all. Now, if you don't live in an area like a home where you have your own backyard and you live in somewhere like a townhome or an apartment, you're probably gonna make the area smell for a pretty decent amount of time. So just either give your neighbors a heads up or just prepare for what's to come. Now, the next thing I didn't really understand until I had the weights and started using them for a period of time, they're really difficult to pick up because they don't have any handles on them. You really have to have a monster grip strength, especially when you're holding the 35 or the 45 or maybe even the 55 pound. But if you don't have a tight grip, it's very difficult to pick it up off the ground. You either have to prop it up on your foot or prop it up against something so that you can lift up with two hands. But even then, it's a little bit inconvenient because you can only carry one weight at a time. Unless your grip strength is so crazy like a gorilla, then maybe, yeah, you can carry two at once. But with cast iron plates, you can just hold the handles and you can move around more freely. You can do things like suitcase carries very easily with the two weights. Whereas this one, you'd have to hold where the insert of the ring is, something that's pretty inconvenient in the long run when you're working out. The last thing I would say is probably the price. Bumper plates are pretty pricey. They go for about $2 to $3 a pound. And if you don't get it on sale or you don't get a deal, it can kind of add up when you're trying to build your home gym, especially because you're adding one thing after the other. And this isn't something that you want to spend a whole lot of money because at the end of the day, a plate's a plate and weight is weight. So those were the main things that I didn't really like about the weights or didn't really anticipate, but overall they're not too bad. Now we'll talk about some things I liked. Now this probably matters more for me than most people, but I work out with my wife. So having plates that are about the same size no matter what the weight is pretty nice. The 10, the 15, the 25, the 35, and the 45 pound are all the same circumference. When we do exercises like deadlifts, the range of motion is more comfortable for both me and my wife. If I have to use a smaller plated weight, like maybe a 5 or a 10 for my wife, she has to go through a much deeper range of motion, which is not a bad thing, but sometimes it's a little bit uncomfortable. And having all the weights the same size is nice for making uniform exercises. The second thing is, I would say that these are the budget-friendly bumper plates compared to something like Rogue or Ethos. You get what you pay for. Because they're made out of rubber, they bounce, not to the degree like a ball or anything, but they do have some give. It's been 4 years, I don't have any dents, I don't have any chips on the pieces of rubber on the plates at all. The piece where you attach the barbell going through the hole is made out of steel. It's not made out of rubber entirely, which that's common for all of bumper plates. It's not loose and it doesn't look like it's rusting or breaking after 4 years of use, which is nice because when you deadlift and when you squat or bench, whenever you re-rack, there is a lot of movement that goes along with it. Happy to say that it doesn't rust or it doesn't chip on the steel inserts. I can see the life expectancy of these bumper plates being very, very long. They can pretty much last forever. And probably the most important thing, at least for me, is the resale value of bumper plates is pretty high. They don't really lose their value after you buy them. Depending on the seasons, if people are really looking for weights to make a home gym, bumper plates are always a good option to resale because they don't really get damaged. They're just weights. Once you've used it enough and you feel like you've had enough of your home gym, you could probably sell them and get your money money back. To sum it up, you really get what you pay for. It's nothing really fancy. They're very standard bumper plates and they get the job done. I'm just a recreational lifter, so having bumper plates was probably overkill, and I could probably get away with some cast iron plates, but I enjoyed having bumper plates because I do drop weights here and there. If it slips my hand or on some workouts where I get tired, I just drop the weights. I don't have to worry about it cracking the floor or the weights breaking at all. It's nice that I have horse stall mats as well as extra security. The bumper plates are a pretty good option in terms of making sure your floor doesn't break or the weights themselves don't break. So that's all I have for the video today. Hopefully you guys found it helpful in helping you decide if the bumper plates are for you or not. Let me know down below what you guys think about the bumper plates. If you guys like this video, go ahead and like, comment, and share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys back next time in the den.